Humankind and the Fall. But what are humankind, you ask, that God stays mindful of them? They are the peak, the pinnacle, the hinge point of creation. What image is it that we bore or bear of our Creator? Is it marred? Is it gone? And will it come back later? Irenaeus clove apart the image and the likeness. The reason and the will he termed the image bestowed on us. Reason being that by which the spiritual is known, the will, the freedom humans have to act upon their own, to turn towards or turn away from God's divine taught plan. Irrationally opposing the righteousness of God is man. The likeness lost was seen in our conforming to the Word, a template for our living, lost in Eden when we turned. But now it can, as he maintains, be regained once more. The Christ who came was living Word. Follow, he implored. And by his Spirit likeness may be quickened deep within, if we would only turn around, repent, and follow him. But humankind was immature at first, their wisdom scant. Man could not receive perfection, being yet infant. Temptation hissed into their ears that serpent's doubting laughter, and took quick root. They fell like Jack, and all came tumbling after. Why, you ask, did all fall when we failed and taint creation? Was it our role to stand between the realms of earth and heaven? As God's image, humankind was placed in God's own temple Eden, representing that unseen to make visible the hidden. If that were all, then image loss would not mar all creation, but not as sign of God alone are humans representing, but function too. To humankind authority is given to stand in God's own place under his blessed supervision. Creation relates to mankind, who in turn serves creation, a delegated godlike role wherever he has placed them. But woe, authority has been perverted by the fall. The human keystone crumbled, bringing ruin on it all. Estranged from humankind, creation too was out of kilter, a garden lacking gardener's care to weed it and to water. God's plan ignored, not knowing weeds from plants, we grew them all. Thorns and hard-won crops together sprung up after the fall. For many ages God's plan was like Heligon's gardens lost, but God still worked to restore all, not balking at the cost. The key was to restore to shape the keystone of that bridge. A new one would be easier, but to Noah he had pledged to keep his plan to restore man and woman to their place. Restore, refresh upon their lives the image of his face. And so Christ came when time was right and prophecy fulfilled, to open up once more that bridge and with them to rebuild, and to improve until at last maturity be gained, as from sin's shackles we are freed, true humanness reclaimed, and the full flower of humankind and creation be revealed, to reflect the awesome glory of the beauteous one unveiled. Stan Gren said God's image is the shape of human destiny, transformed by Christ event, inaugurated eschatology, which means the last days have begun, that they began with Christ, when his human life was done, when he had paid the price. But more of that later, we're getting off the point. We return to our subject, human failing, and Gren's point. He sees it as the task of humankind to bear his face, corporately as his church, a witness to the human race. He says it is our ethical responsibility to live out in the here and now the new reality. Transformed relationships, he thinks. In truth, they are the key. Man to God, and to the world, all three. And so, as church, we need to keep all our relationships reviewed. They will be truly right when all's new made, restored, renewed. But more anon, for we must now return to ages past, considering Abraham's role and those who from his loins God cast.